Hello everyone. So in this lab, we'll be doing our assignment questions of lab manual 9. And now I just want you to remember some points which was mentioned in the previous video. That was okay. So this is your assignment question of lab manual 9. So what you are supposed to do in this lab is you are going to test mean for all these questions. So one day I have highlighted it because I have not mentioned mean here. Okay, so it is mean. You have to test for mean. Got it? So what we have to do is we just have to open our subset of small town. I repeat, you have to do your assignment from subset of small town, not directly from the small town. It is subset of small town. Got it? If you do not have your subset, then go back to chapter 1, do the lab manual, follow the lab manual and create subset. Got it? Okay. Now, so what I want you to remember was you write your null and alternative hypothesis at the beginning depending on the question, and then to find p-value, you will have to rewrite your null and alternative hypothesis in this way. You will have to rewrite the null and alternative hypothesis as follows. So this, how did you compute it? Is 2 negative 1. Here it is 2 negative 1. So I wrote it as 2 negative 1. Remember, it depends on this equation. Okay, and then just follow this and make sure to reverse the sign. I repeat, make sure to reverse the sign in alternative hypothesis. Okay, and read the statements. After you change the order of the means, you will have to reverse the inequality sign. Got it? You will have to reverse only the inequality sign. Okay, done. So now let me go straight into the assignment question. Okay, so now this is your question. First A, right? We need to test the claim that the mean salary for males is greater than mean salary for females. So in this slide, we'll be comparing two independent variables and then complete the statements. And we do not have any hypothesized values to compare. So we need to compare the independent variables with each other. Okay, so what are the steps to be followed? Okay, you will have to open the subset of small town, then write your null and alternative hypothesis, then plot the graph, then do the t-test to find your p-value, and then plot the QQ plot. You will have to check for normality. If n is greater than 30, then assume it is normally distributed. If n is less than 30, you will have to check for normality. So these are the first 5 steps to be followed to do your assignment question. Okay, let's start now. So I will have to open subset of small town. Okay, I'm going to drag this. Fine. So this is enough. One A says that you will have to test the claim that mean salary for meals. So it's between salary and meals. Meals is included in the variable called as sex. Right? It's between salary and sex. Make sure that this is character. Okay, this should be character. So it's character now. Let's proceed. Go to analyze. Okay, so first you will have to write your null and alternative hypothesis. So what is your null and alternative hypothesis? Write your team name, all this format. I'm going to post this PDF also, just follow the format. It will be very easy for you. Okay, so first you will have to write your null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, It's done. Make sure null hypothesis includes only equal to sign. You have to remember this. Alternative hypothesis depends on the question. It is greater here, so I will write greater symbol here. Okay, and mu1, mu2. It is mu1 and mu2. Mu1 is mean weight for males, mu2 is mean weight for females. Okay, and what is my next step? I will have to show p-value. You have to find p-value now. Got it? So how do you find your p-value? Go here. Okay, now I have to find my p-value. For that, I will have to plot the graph. Second option, fit y by x. Because we are comparing two independent variables. Okay, so sets x factor and then it is salary y factor. Okay, I get this graph. Okay, so this is nothing but parallel plot. Okay, remember this was done in our beginning of the lab. Okay, so we did parallel plot and then we used to do the box plot also. So go to display option, box plot. Okay, now it's done. F is female, M is male. Okay, done. Now what I'm going to do is find the p-value. Go here, do t-test. Okay, now it's done. I have did my t-test here. Okay, now how do we choose p-value? Is it depending on the question? The question says that it is greater than, so do we have to choose a p-value greater than p? No, it is completely wrong. You're not supposed to choose your p-value depending on the question. It depends on the null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, you will have to rewrite your null and alternative hypothesis and then only you will get your p-value. Let me go and do it. Okay, so for that, we'll have to rewrite this null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, I told you was have to rewrite the null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, these two are same. I'm going to rewrite it. Now, to rewrite it, it depends on the question, right? It is male, negative, female. I told you that mu1 belongs to male and mu2 belongs to female. So this mu2 should come here and it should be like this. mu1, negative, mu2. That is male, negative, female, which is similar to this. Okay. So mu1, negative, mu2 equal to, because null hypothesis 0. Got it? Now I'll keep this sign as it is and I'm going to shift this mu to here. Okay, so it is mu1 negative mu2 greater than 0. But when you are rewriting your null and alternative hypothesis, you will have to change the symbol. Okay, so it is greater here. I have to change it to less than symbol. Okay, this is how you rewrite your null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, so now I got my new null and alternative hypothesis. I have to choose the p-value. Now, since it is less than, the symbol here is less than. So I'm going to choose probability less than t. So I got my p-value as 0.9789. So p-value is what? 0.9781. So this is greater than alpha, right? Alpha is 0.05, which is significance level. So 0.05, right? So our p-value is greater than 0.05. So what is my conclusion then? Since p-value is greater than alpha, what I am going to do? fail to reject null hypothesis. So if you are doing fail to reject null hypothesis, then we say that there is not enough evidence to support the claim that the mean salary is greater than mean salary for females. You will have to remember this point. See, if p-value is greater than alpha, fail to reject H1. That is what I did. So if you are rejecting, if you're accepting null hypothesis, means if you're saying that H0 is failed to reject, then there is not enough evidence to support the claim. Okay, so this is what you will have to remember. Okay, so I wrote my statistical conclusion and plain English conclusion. So it is my next question is to verify the validity of test. So I told you, so we will have to do only for the main because the question says the given question is this. We will have to test for main. So we will have to do only for the main. So we will have to verify that if n is greater than 30 and n is less than 30, whether the variable is normally distributed or not. Okay, so I told you that for n is greater than 30, assume the variable is normally distributed. Okay, let's check whether the variables, the sample size, that is the n value, the variable is greater than 30 or not. So how do we do that is to analyze distribution. So it's in the y column. Okay, so you got your female and male numbers. Can you see? Both are greater than 30. So close it. Okay. Let me go to the graph again and plot the normal and quantile plot. Choose this. Plot actual by quantile. Can you see? Most of the data points for the male are on the line, and we can see that both are normally distributed because n is greater than 30, hence the test is valid. Okay, I'm going to write it. For the mean, you have to verify that n is greater than 30 and for n is less than 30. So what you have to do is you will have to paste this graph, or you can do one thing, go here, select the whole thing, Control C, and remember I need graphs for the evidence. Got it? So paste here. I have to paste the whole thing. Okay, so because I need to know how you got your p-value, so I need the graphs as a support for your answer. Got it? So if you have plotted all this, okay, now for the mean you have to verify that n is greater than. So we can see that the number of samples for male and female is greater than 30, hence the variable is normally distributed. Okay, hence the test is valid. That's it. Finish off your question. Got it? We say the test is not valid when it is not normally distributed. Okay, close this because we have done the first question. So this is your end of the first question. Now I'll tell you how to do the 1B, C, D. Okay, I will just show it roughly and you will have to do it in your assignment. Okay, the next question is you have to test the claim that the BMI for male is less than BMI for female. So how do we do it? Make sure you write your null and alternative hypothesis first, and then in your second step, you will have to rewrite it again, okay, to find the p-value. Make sure first step, open the subset of small term. I did it. Next, write your null and alternative hypothesis. You have to do it, okay. And then third one, plot the graph. Okay, go here, fit y by x. Now the question is about, I'm doing 1b. So question is about BMI and 6, right? So, so what I'm supposed to do is, okay, so now you'll have to compare between the BMI and sex. So sex will always be next factor. Now, where is my BMI? Okay, BMI, Y, click on OK. So you get your parallel plot. So you have to do parallel box plot. So for that, go to display option and choose this box plot. So you get your parallel box plot now. And now what do you have to do is go here and find the t-test to find the p-value. Okay, remember, how do you find your p-value? First, you will have to rewrite the null and alternative hypothesis. Okay, this says that the males is less than BMI for females, so it is less here. So you are rewriting your alternative hypothesis. After rewriting will be greater than 0. Got it? So now your p-value should be greater than t. So this will be your p-value. Got it? So that is how you have to choose. And remember, my sample size is different, so your sample size might be different, right? So your sample size and my sample size of the subset of small town will be different, and your values will also be different. So don't try to compare these values with the assignment questions. Okay, the answers you get. So I got my p-value now. Okay, so now I will have to check for normality. Let me plot it. Okay, so it seems both are normally distributed. Okay, males and females are normally distributed, or else you can say that you can go and check here the n values. Go to distribution, y column, click on OK. See, both are greater than 30, so it is normally distributed. Close this. Okay, so this is the 1b. So I have told you roughly, and you will have to follow the same for the rest of the question. Okay, so let me do 1d. So go here, analyze, fit y by. So 1d is between blood pressure and sex. So sex in the X factor again, and system BP is the blood pressure, systolic blood pressure. Okay, go here, y, okay. You got your parallel box plot now. Now display option, box plot. Okay, so it's done. Now, how will you rewrite your hypothesis, null and alternative hypothesis? Test the claim that the is same for males and females, right? So I will just show you roughly. For 1D, okay, it says that h naught mu1 is equal to mu2, right? So, and it says it is same. So our alternative hypothesis will be not equal to. So B okay. So this will be not equal to. Okay, alternative hypothesis is not equal to mu2. So this is how you write your null and alternative for this uh, type of questions when it says it is same, when there is no inequality sign, when it says unequal to. So how do you rewrite your null and alternative make sure this is same. Okay. Alternative hypothesis. When you had the greater symbol, you were supposed to write it as less than. Okay. So now you have not equal to. So what should you write here? You have to write same, because as the lab manual says that you will have to reverse only the inequality sign. Okay, you'll have to reverse only the inequality sign, that is greater than or less than sign, not this inequality or the not equal to symbol. So you will have to write this not equal to symbol as it is. Okay, so that is how you rewrite it. So that is for 1D. Okay, remember this is for 1D. So I just show you with an example. So we did 1D, we rewrote our land alternative hypothesis, go here and do pretest. Okay, so everything is done. Find your p-value. For 1D, it is not less than or this one, it will be this probability greater than this. Got it? So this will be your p-value for 1D. Sorry, this sounds okay. So you got your p-value. Go ahead and do the rest of the part. Now let us check for normality. Normal quantile plot actual by quantile. Okay, see, both are normally distributed. Okay, so if you want to just verify it, let us go and check for the number of samples for males and females. See, it is greater than 30. Once it is normally distributed, so the test is valid. Got it? So this is how you have to do your assignment questions. And I've seen some mistakes in lab manual in your assignment read that most of the students are not doing this part. Yeah, this part most of the students have not done so they have lost their marks. That was first mistake. And the second mistake was, it was weird because null hypothesis contains only one symbol, that is equal to. Okay, it doesn't contain the greater, less, or not equal to symbols. It contains only equal to symbol. So whatever might be the question, you have to use only this symbol for null hypothesis. Okay, most of the students have used less than, greater than, those kind of symbols, which is wrong. Okay, and the third mistake was theme issues. I've seen, I know there are two attempts for you to upload your homework, but I see some students are using it wrongly. Okay, so if you're not in a team, if you're not working with your team, please do email me and I will create an individual team for you so that you can upload your own assignment. Okay, so suppose if you upload it with the same group and if there is no if you have not included your team members, then I will have to give them 0. Okay, so make sure you're working with your teams, you're fine with your teams. If you're not fine, okay, if you're feeling difficult to work with them, then do email me. I'll create an individual assignment, an individual team for you, and then you'll not have any issues to upload your assignment. And have changed my office hours to Thursday and Friday because Monday seems not a good day for you all to ask me questions because that's the last day to submit your assignment. So I had to change the office hours to Thursdays and Friday. So you'll have some time to check your assignment, do it, and ask me doubts in the purpose meeting. So have kept it on Thursday and Friday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. So if you have any doubts, just join the meeting. I've already sent you the links. I will send you the link every week, and make sure you join and clear your doubts. Okay. Thank you for your time.